that, for instance, if you got a contract, if she played 3 years, they had rights to you forever if they wanted to. But now, when the Oscar Robertson case went into effect, they could no longer do that. If you want to go to another team, you could go. They could match the offer, but you could still go to wherever you want to go. You didn't have to come back to that team.
And is it fair to say the Oscar Robertson case affected other sports?
I think it did, because I never forget that 1 year that I had an agent, J.W. Brown, who wasn't my attorney. Then after that, Sandy Koufax and John Darsville got an attorney to represent them in the contract. But I think that it led up to those types of things, where people would be represented by agents and whatnot, so that they could get the best deal possible. Because a lot of owners would write things into a contract, and unless you got a trained eye to look at it, because the money part is very simple. I said, I'll pay you X amount of dollars to play basketball. But then if you step on the curve wrong, they say, oh, that's detrimental to the game of basketball. And they could cancel your contract. They had different ways of doing that. But the Oscar Robertson case propelled people into a different light, man. I said, but now it's almost make basketball players like movie stars, like rock stars.
I believe what you did in the Oscar Robertson lawsuit, these are my words, I believe that it transcended sports. I believe that you fighting for the rights of athletes, my father's from Detroit, worked in the auto factory 35 years. I know what the unions protect and did for him. And so when I look and I talk to older players, younger players, about what the conditions were like, it's almost like you opened the door.
I appreciate you giving me all the honor. I wasn't quite...
Everyone with you, though.
I do. Guys with me. But, it made a big difference.
Oscar Robertson is one of the top 5 players in basketball history. Well, top 10 for sure. Maybe top 5, maybe 5. Top 10 for sure. Best basketball players of all time.
Oscar Robertson is the best basketball player I ever played against. He had no weakness.
When I look back at my career, he's the greatest player I ever played against, period.
When you hear Michael Jordan's the best player of all time, how do you react?
I react by saying those people probably didn't see Oscar Robertson play.
He went to Crispus Attucks High School here in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where I'm at right now. For those of y'all who don't know, he was on the first all African American team to win a state championship in basketball. And he just was great his whole career. Went to Cincinnati, put up big numbers, went to the Olympics, won a gold medal. The first player to average a triple-double in NBA history, and he did it for an average of like 5 years or something like that. But man, if you young players don't know who Oscar Robertson is, the Big O, you need to go and look him up. Some of his highlights might look kind of old and grainy, but but his history is great and rich as far as basketball goes. He's definitely one of the top handful of basketball players to ever do it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. What up, though? My name is Kevin Melson with Beyond Your Limits, and in this video we got Chris Webber interviewing the Big O, Oscar Robertson, talking about the Oscar Robertson case. In case you didn't know, Oscar Robertson was he was the first person to take the NBA to court over free agency. There was no free agency before the Oscar Robertson case. So if you got drafted to a crappy team, you were stuck with that crappy team for the rest of your career unless they wanted to trade you. And so Oscar Robertson didn't think that was fair. He didn't think that was a good thing, and so he fought it, and free agency came because of that. So now LeBron James can go and play basketball for whatever city he wants to. Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett too. All these players, they can thank Oscar Robertson for the ability, the freedom to be able to play for whatever team they want to play for, and not just having the owner with holding all the cards, deciding your life and your career. And so they can thank Oscar Robertson for that. And I'm making this video for you young guys. You need to go and learn about the history of basketball. You need to know where the game came from and to the point that it is now. Back in the days, guys wasn't getting paid all these you know, $250 million contracts and things like that. A lot of guys had, you know, other jobs and stuff. Well, not in Oscar Robertson era, but yeah, in Oscar Robertson era, I think. Maybe a little bit before Oscar Robertson era. Yeah, I believe in Oscar Robertson era, they were full-time basketball players. But a lot of guys made sacrifices for things to be the way they are today. And it's just, I mean, it gives you a greater respect for the game that you're playing when you know the history of it. And you know the sacrifices and things that people made for it to be the game that it is today. For players to have the freedom to move around to different teams, for people to be able to get these salaries that are, man, that are enormous. They deserve it. I mean, they're creating an atmosphere where all of these companies are paying billions of dollars to put their ads on NBA jerseys and commercials. And I mean, I believe they signed $1 billion contract just for the month of March, for March Madness in basketball. So basketball players are generating all this money, so they should be partaking on and getting the money as well. And so those are my feelings on that. I mean, the owner shouldn't get all the money if he ain't out there running suicides, but but it's just I mean, it's just basketball is at a good spot, a good space right now for the players. Right now is the best time that it's ever been to be a basketball player, especially if you have you have the skill and the know-how and the luck to make it to the NBA. I mean, even if you don't, there's numerous opportunities in basketball for you to go play overseas and make a lot of money. It's opportunities for you to go to college for free, you know, graduate with no student debt. And I mean, it's just, basketball can give you a lot of things. Basketball took me all around the world. I had never been out of Detroit until basketball took me all around the United States and all around the world. And so just, I mean, just the point of this video is just to know the history of basketball. Go and look at the old guys and what they did and what kind of success they had and the things they had to go through. It'll give you a much greater respect for the game that you're playing. And that's all I have for this video today. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.